Loo. She can, I'm not sure if we can co-host with each other. We have a bunch of stuff to show. Maybe I'll start with the slides, or maybe I'll show off a sprinkle first. Or,
oh, okay. So
don't mute.
So
I was gonna say, we can show you what one of the sprinkles looks like right here, maybe. Wow, this one requires like a Qi charging pad. I don't know if this is gonna work well, but you can kind of see it's got a CryptoKitty sitting on there. It's like this. I'm trying to center it. We're gonna hold them up to the screen as well when Lou's doing her demo. But basically, and once I remove it from the pad, this one does not have any sort of battery built into it, but it's basically just an acrylic cube, well, resin cube, that has an Arduino and a screen in it. And now we'll explain what that does. So what are sprinkles? Sprinkles, the idea is basically, I'm assuming people here understand what NFTs are. I'm not sure what the target audience is. Basically, they're like, for lack of a better word, art on the blockchain. I'm going to admit this person. Whoops. So yes, what is it? Why sprinkles? Oh, actually, I can't. How do I? Sorry, everyone. I'm still learning this. So the idea is basically to keep your NFTs, your art you've purchased on the blockchain around you at all times, so you can see it and enjoy it. Oh, what's this?
I'm not sure this from you.
Does everyone else have a weird box in the middle? Because I do not. It's not a box that you have?
No. Oh, it's okay. But I don't know if people, oh, so everybody has that. Yeah, so then some of the words are not. Yeah, you should close.
There we go. Okay. Is that better? Yeah. Excellent. Oh, that's good. I can use Lou's screen to like figure out what I'm doing wrong. Sweet. Okay, so basically NFTs is this beautiful piece of art you have. The problem is everyone today, they're sitting in your wallet somewhere, or they're sitting on some web page you have to like navigate to, or you use OpenSea to browse your own collection. So the idea is to bring them to the real world, something you can enjoy on your day-to-day life. So each sprinkle is this cute artistic, artistic for now. We're still trying to figure that part out because we're developers, not artists. But each one's a cute artistic frame that you put for your, that you use for your NFTs. The important thing to keep in mind is that each sprinkle is itself an NFT. This one, which has not been potted, you can see, I'll hold this up to the screen, that little purple chippy thing there above the screen. That's a secure enclave, which is a fancy piece of hardware that has a private key in it, but the private key was generated inside that chip and can never leave. So you cannot reproduce that chip. Like there's no way, short of spending incredible amounts of money, to like dissolve this in acid and then reverse engineer whatever things this company did to protect their private keys. So this private key was generated on the chip when we started this hackathon. And so this is actually hashed and kept on the blockchain, which means that you can ask this chip, please sign a message. It can give you a signed message back. And then you can look up on the blockchain and make sure that this is an official sprinkle, that Richard Moore and Yuet Loo like went out of their way to authenticate this thing is real and that it's not forgeable, et cetera, et cetera. And the cool thing is anyone can verify this. So the example I give of this is, you can imagine, right now we have just this one version, but you can imagine a wearable. If you have like a necklace that has a CryptoKitty on it and you see somebody on the subway, you can actually take out your phone and scan their BLE device, and you can be guaranteed for a fact that that person owns that CryptoKitty. There's privacy issues too, right? Like you don't want to encourage people to mug you, for example, because they can verify that you have so much money, et cetera, et cetera. But you can imagine being in some fancy person's house and seeing a picture frame of a CryptoKitty and knowing for a fact that the person's house you're in actually owns that CryptoKitty. Oh, thanks. Lou's adjusting my screen. So yes, basically that's the, I don't know if there's, so yes, basically I've shown you this sugar cube already. We still have lots of form factors. Right now, I think you've seen the two. There's this cube thing, and there's the dev board version, which I held up briefly. But basically, I'll see if I can, right there's like the CPU, and there's the screen and the secure enclave. The next version, we plan to put a supercapacitor as well as there's They're really cool. It's like a dual buck converter / charge pump. It's an awesome piece of chip. But basically it means that once you take your sugar cube off the charging panel, it'll remain charged for 3 or 4 minutes. So you can sit there on the couch and admire your pretty little NFT before putting it back on its platform to show off to the world. And there's lots of other options too, which I might actually have a slide for. Haha, yes. So another thing we want to do is get this down into a nice little small PCB. So then anyone can kind of make their own sprinkle. Like some of the examples I was thinking of is, imagine like Banksy, he can actually take one of these sprinkles and like epoxy it onto a wall, a big brick wall, before spray painting it with some graffiti. And now it's kind of like verified. Anyone can, oh, I have to admit someone. Now anyone in the universe can actually come up to that wall, tap their phone on it, and prove that this was authorized by Banksy, et cetera, et cetera. And it's also useful because Ethereum is pseudonymous, which means that if you wanted to be some sort of crazy tagger, you can kind of like author your work in a way while you graffiti the town. I'm not endorsing this, by the way, but you know, you can graffiti the town and people can authorize and say, yes, the same person drew this, that drew that, without actually revealing who you are, as examples. Lots of crazy ideas. And now we will give this over to Lou so she can do the demo. Okay. What's the easiest way to do? So I should do that and figure out how to make you a host. Oh, is it working?
Let me see. Can you see?
I can see it. Yes, there we go.
Oh, okay. That's good. Okay.
Oh, so actually, while she's doing that, I guess if you can pull my, yeah, I don't know what the easiest is. Maybe I'll hold this up to your screen while you do that. Okay, I'll do this. Nope.
No,
oh,
I don't know whether you can see it.
Oh, maybe I'm still the main. Can people see the sprinkle at the same time they can see her screen?
Not very easy to see.
Okay, well, I'll let you do your logging in and stuff.
Okay, so this app is basically an app for you to configure the image that will display on the sprinkle. So on this screen that you're seeing, it shows that this account that I logged into has one sprinkle that I purchased with this account. So when I click on the sprinkle, it will show me all of the NFT that I purchased with the exact same account. So on this account, I have a few CryptoKitties and a takoyaki. So at this time, if you see this, this card is actually has a gray box border around it. So meaning that my sprinkle has been selected to display this NFT. So if I want to change it to one of the...
Hit the admit button.
Sorry?
There's an admit button. Somebody's trying to get in. Yep, there you go.
Oh, okay. So if I want to change my sprinkle to display a different image, different NFT, then I'll just click on it and you will see that the gray borderline is on the selected NFT right now.
The sprinkle phones home every 10 seconds, and then it takes about 5 seconds to download.
Yeah, so you'll have to wait a little bit before the actual image will show up on the sprinkle.
In theory. You know, live demos being what they are and such.
We tried it a few times.
Come
on. I just
on.
have to wait
15 seconds. Oh, there we go. It showed up.
Okay, yeah. So
and one thing that really does not come across on these cameras is just how gorgeous the screen is. It's like it's a retina display. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'll include links because anybody who's doing hardware hacking, like, they're just awesome screens.
Right. So again, we were talking about Sprinkle is also an NFT. So if you decided to transfer the ownership of that Sprinkle, you can. So let's say if I change my MetaMask account now to a different account.
You have to transfer the token.
No, I just want to show before that. So I have 3 sprinkles on this account, but they're not attached. the sprinkle that Rich is holding is actually sprinkle number 1, and this is sprinkle number 4. They're not related, but I do have all of this NFT attached to this account. So in order for me to select, to be able to change the image to be displayed on the sprinkle, I have to transfer the sprinkle to this account. So what I would have to do is to log back in to that account.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to do you think we need to go through all that? I mean, basically what we're showing, originally we were planning to demo this, but maybe it's not necessary. It's a little bit longer-ish. But
Right.
basically the point is whoever owns the NFT,
whoever owns this
gets to choose what goes on it. Yeah.
So that they could just go in and select.
And once she transfers the NFT away from her account that's currently showing this kitty will no longer show up because the accounts are now disjoint. Until she goes into her new account she's transferred it to and selected a kitty.
Yeah.
Aha, sweet. I think there's not much left in terms of slides. So just some technical information for anybody who's curious. I should play this. So basically it's a ESP32. They're an awesome chip. That's the secure enclave we use. To give us some ideas for prices, the ESP32 costs about $2. The secure enclave at scale is 62 cents, I think. And then screens, the screens, like I said, are beautiful, but they're only about $2. Other things we want to do in the future is add like an SD card so we can put more stuff on here. You could imagine having an NFT that's actually an hour-long loop of a video. It could easily fit on an SD card and just be streamed over and over again on this thing. And that's really all we have. Once I get to the next slide. Oops. Right. So yes, that's all we have. Oh, I'll make you host again so you can like do stuff. Oh, once I figure this out again. Doop.
Perfect. Doing stuff now. Thank you so much for showing that demo and for taking us through Sprinkles. Super flipping cool. Like I can't wait to display my NFTs on this tiny little cube. Approximately, like, how much does that cost to like you know, like to make that thing, or like how much like?
Right. So I mean, so let's see. So the processor is about $2-3. The screen's about $2. The secure enclave is like less than $1, even not at scale. So I mean, the whole thing in total costs probably about $10. There's a lot of extra things we bought for this. So for example, I bought a vacuum chamber so that I can prepare the resin to pour into it. So if you just wanted to make one, it might be a little pricey. But if you're going to make like 20, the cost comes down quite a bit. I mean, in terms of resin, this used like one, let's say 16th of the bottle, and the bottles are like $50. So, I mean, it does not take much resin. It's a 4 centimeter cube thing. We're building a PCB for right now, so that we're actually trying to get like a smaller, even more cute and adorable one that can just like sit around on your coffee table so people can come and admire it. So yeah, I mean, sub $20, I guess. But I mean, at the end of the day, we want to get something that's like, we do want to get to a premium model, at least for the beginning, to get like, in my mind, it'd be awesome to get artists, like resin artists. I'm sure we've all watched those YouTube like videos. They're just gorgeous, watching people like do amazing things with resin. It'd be cool to get someone to build like a really beautiful resin environment inside this, like a little forest surrounding the screen, so that when your CryptoKitty is there, he's surrounded by like a Totoro style forest or something. Lots of random ideas. So
that's super cool. Yeah, I can't wait to, you know, just also have one and just display my cool artwork.
One other quick thing I want to point out is actually this was not even the idea we were originally planning for the hackathon. The idea we wanted for the hackathon totally fell through because a critical part we want just arrived the other day. But the original idea was actually to build a 6-inch by 6-inch tile that would also be poured acrylic with a tiny little screen in the center and solar cells surrounding it. So the idea is it would just charge from the ambient environment. And then you could use this on the backsplash in your kitchen or on the bathroom floor. Like you can just have your NFTs like literally sprinkled all around you as like a, so other ideas. There's lots of different places you could put. So imagine you go in the washroom, be like, oh, that's my CryptoKitty I love. Nice.
That would be interesting, going into the bathroom and seeing my NFTs. But
Yeah,
I
there you
mean,
go.
that's exactly what it's for. Cool. Does anyone else have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself. If not, then I'm gonna see if you guys want to do the bathroom break, and if not, we can just truck ahead. But
I have a question. So are you gonna will people be able to buy the end result, or is it do it yourself? Are you
So-
gonna sell kits, or that's
So-
a lot of parts to source, and even the resin as well?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's something we definitely want to start producing them so people can use them. I mean, that requires like other scale and company like things that we don't quite have yet. But the goal is basically to produce the PCBs and like put all the boards and everything on them. And then the do-it-yourself model will be something that you buy from us. We'll ship it to you. We'll register the private key that the secure enclave generates on the blockchain. So now whatever you embed it in, like one idea I was thinking of is if you actually wove it into a canvas and then painted on the canvas, you now have like a provably, this is your on the blockchain real world NFT thing that you can ship around. And so the do-it-yourself thing would just be a PCB that you embed into whatever art you want to do. But yes, ultimately it'd be wonderful if you could just get these in the mail and put your NFTs on it right away and just put it on your coffee table to show off to the world and be like, see that? CryptoKitty #1, that's mine.
No, that's great. Yeah, looks awesome. Great job.
Cool, thanks.
yeah, the screen does look beautiful. Does anyone else have any questions?
Yeah, I've got one, which is around like, how is the device itself registered on chain? Like, does that have to be done kind of by you guys as like a trusted setup type thing, or could someone register their own, if that makes sense?
So right now we have an ERC 1155 contract that we own the private keys for, but the contract also has a concept of series. So the idea is that we'll have like a founders series, which will sell for more, but will be a limited run of, let's say, like 256 of these in total that we'll manufacture. Those people will get first dibs on actually ordering one. And so those ones, that's like we own sprinkles.eth. So you just use the contract sitting there and you would register. So we would register those first 256 against the founders series, but there'll also be a do-it-yourself series, which will just register. We'll put a max cap of, let's say, 4 billion. And then whenever anybody buys one, we'll just ship it to you. And so that's not a limited run, but there's, you asked the second part of the question, which what was the second part of your question?
I guess essentially like, could someone just deploy their own contract and then register their own?
Oh, right. Thing? So it wouldn't interoperate with this directly, but I was thinking the other day, like one of the cool things we can actually do is deploy a contract, which will become the owner of the 1155. And then we can actually allow, for example, people that want to debug or build their own versions against it. We can build them a series, right? Like I can have a series called Wild People or whatever, and people can just then call that contract. Since it's the owner of the 1155, it would have a restriction that random people in the world, anyone who wants to, can register against the official contract and insert their private key, insert their public key for the purposes of this, so that they could then manufacture them themselves, either for testing purposes or for like kind of like a hobbyist style thing. And another idea we're kind of playing with is, in the same guise, you could imagine we could expose this to someone else. If Louis Vuitton comes along and says we want to add a sprinkle to every one of our handbags, we can actually make like an LV series, give them ownership of it, and whenever they make a handbag, they put one of the sprinkles they manufacture into the thing, and then they can call it. But the important thing is they only have access over their own series. So LV can throw things in the LV bucket, the do-it-yourself bucket, and the founders bucket. So only Lou and I can do. And then there'll be this like Wild People or whatever bucket that anyone in the universe who's just like some crazy developer who bought a bunch of stuff off of eBay or Alibaba can now throw their own together and register against the official contract. So for now, exactly, it's fully trusted in the sense that we own the private keys that control that contract. but the goal is in the future to be able to have another contract, own that other contract, the first contract, and then kind of provide a gated wall into it based on who you are. So if you want to build random sprinkles, and even just for testing, this is useful, right? If you wanted to interoperate with sprinkles, you don't want to necessarily buy a secure enclave. If you look in the repo, there's a software version of the sprinkle that will generate you the private keys. And then you can, if you notice, Loo has 6 sprinkles. Well, there's only 2 sprinkles that exist, the cube and this dev board. So the rest of them are all software faux sprinkles just for the sake of testing. If that answers your questions.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. And Terry Culver just messaged in the chat. If you're interested in collaboration with sculptors who want to integrate your tech with art, he'd be happy to make some introductions. So,
yeah. Well, I was actually thinking the other day how to even, I don't know if it's sculpting. Is there a way to embed something inside a sculpture? Because I guess for now you can just carve out a cavity, put this thing in and putty it over. I don't know, but yes, it's always good to talk to people. Feel free to reach out.
Yeah, we'll do. So it's definitely possible. And then there's other things you can do with casting, where you can just make the enclave or the NFT an integral part rather than sort of just the context for the NFT.
Right. So some other ideas I've been playing with. I actually want to see how well this can drive 4 screens, because you can imagine a cube having 4 different screens in it and having like a 3D version of your thing, but in isomorphic projection. So when you're looking at the left side, you see the left side. When you look at the front, you see the front, and so on and so on. Like, that's just the beginning. Like, there's so many weird things you can do once you have this idea. So yes, exactly. Like, it doesn't have to be screens. It could be lights. It could just be, yeah. So yes, definitely reach out, bug us.
Will do. Thank you.